Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. How's things today in the old Facebook land? Let me get things pinned. It's really warm out, so if you're here in Sacramento, it's really warm. Only gonna get warmer, I think, tomorrow. We found an inflatable pool for our backyard, so we're gonna set that up. I think it's being set up while I'm drawing, and then I might try to go float in it today. So welcome. Hello. Good to see you. It is Tuesday. It's our second day of dog week. We started it yesterday with the Husky, and today we are continuing it with Scooby Doo. Scooby Doo is a little bit trickier of a drawing than some of our others that we do. So if you are finding that it's frustrating you, or that it just feels like it's going way too fast, then I suggest watching it when it's done so you can pause it, or watching it with someone who can help you out with certain shapes. I don't think it's impossible. We've done drawings just as hard. It just definitely is one of those drawings that's a little bit trickier. So yes, Scooby Doo today, and we're just doing Scooby. I didn't do any of the other characters from Scooby Doo, and I thought I had a drawing that I did at one other time with all the other characters, but I can't find it. I think somebody ended up with it. So, but you could add other Scooby-Doo characters in, the Mystery Machine, or some of Scooby's buddies, or a box of Scooby snacks. I do have a St. Bernard on my list. It's not happening this week for Dog Week, but I do have one on the list. So we will do a St. Bernard eventually. Let's see. So yes, Scooby-Doo today, maybe a little bit trickier. Get help if you need it, or wait till the video's over and then draw it where you can pause it. What other thing did yesterday, I posted that video of my son and I doing the blind drawing. So it seemed like a lot of you guys watched it and liked it. So really, you should try that. It's really a lot of fun. Like, it'll bring good laughs. And, I set a timer for 4 minutes. We didn't end up needing 4 minutes. We both did our drawings in about 2 minutes. So don't even worry about the timer, but I would just give yourself like a smaller time frame in which to do it. But that's really fun. Drawing someone without looking at the paper is pretty funny. It's pretty funny. We had a good time. So, okay, let me flip the camera around. Hello, you're on with your mom. Awesome. Let me flip the camera around and I'll show you guys the Scooby Doo for the day. It sounded like we had a lot of people who either had a Great Dane at some point. So you could also make this just a general Great Dane. You don't have to turn it into Scooby Doo. So let's flip this around. So there we go. There's our Scooby-Dooby-Doo. I did that all night while I was drawing it. I'm sure my family hated me. I just kept saying it over and over. Let me lift this up a little bit. So there's our Scooby. And again, you could add lots of things into this. You could draw Scooby-Doo smaller, add other things in. Rosie's here. Linda, she's here. And yeah, just run with it. So again, like maybe you just want to do it as a Great Dane, or you want to color him differently, a different collar on him. You can make any changes that you want to your Scooby. So let's get our pencils. And again, where it's going to get tricky, I told you this one's a little bit trickier. The feet shouldn't be too bad because you're just building off of, like you're making this first one, you know, this first shape, and then you'll build off of it. And you'll do that with all of them. But this back end is a little bit trickier. These like little, you know, his like knees, I guess you'd call them. It's going to have a little bit of trickiness to doing those. The face is pretty easy, and we're going to break it all down into shapes like I always do to kind of help you out along the way. So the first shape, does everyone know what a pear looks like? A pear shape? Because that's what we're going to do on our page. And we're doing a pear that's laying on its side. But if it's hard for you to draw it laying on its side, then turn your paper more upright and do a pear shape. And now you have a pear. Okay, so that's kind of the start of our Scooby Doo shape. I'm going to make it just a little bit smaller. So yep, there you go. Just that little pear shape. Erase these outside edges. I just made mine a little bit smaller than I did the first round. And then you have this pear. It's narrow at this side and wider on this end. Now, Scooby's head is going to build off of the front of this pear. So starting about halfway up, you're going to do a line that just comes straight up. And then the back of the head builds off of this. This is his back. So you're just going to curve up. And you can just come around and you actually end up making yourself like a hot dog shape. So see, I have this hot dog shape. It's coming straight off the chest, but off of the back, it's curving in. So it's a little bit wider on this side. Curves in and then goes around. Right, that doesn't look too much like Scooby yet. Looks kind of funny. But you'll start to see the shape coming in. And once you have that, once you have this shape on the pear, then erase this piece right here. Right? So pear shape, hot dog shape, and then you erase the line where the pear body was. Everyone is having spelling problems today. For Scooby's big nose and like jowls, his cheek area, I'm going to start it just a little down from the front, and I'm just going to do a curved shape that comes into the face. And then you can erase this line. Yep, see, even the LOL. Lul. Lul. This almost looks like what I would do for a walrus. He has a really large nose, and the nose is just going to be just inside of where the top of this starts. I'm going to come a little bit below, and I'm going to draw a big curved nose or curved edge triangle for the nose. And then I'll erase the little line that's inside of the nose. Now his jowls, his cheeks, they're actually going to be divided into two. So I'm going to curve this line up and then down. So he'll have one on this side and one on the other. In fact, I'm going to move that over a little bit more. I want it a little more lined up with the nose. And his head's kind of turned to the side. So we're seeing one side of cheek more than the other. There we go. Scooby's big. He's like a big Great Dane. And then Scooby has a chin. So below where you put this little jowl cheeks, just do a little circle for the chin. And we'll add little details. He's going to have little freckles in his cheeks. He's going to have a couple little hairs on his chin. But we'll add those at the end. Now for his eyes are kind of on the smaller side in the scale of his face. And so one eye is going to be outside of our, like the top of our hot dog. So right where the nose meets the face, I'm going to put an oval right there for eye number 1. And then an oval a little bit over from that for eye number 2. And I'm doing a curved line towards the bottom inside of the eye. I have this line going through my eye right now, but when I do it in pen, I just won't put that there. So it's harder to erase since that's such a small space. So I'm just gonna leave it in there for now. And then in this upper portion, I'm gonna do little circles of light in the upper right-hand corner of the eye. So you see that? Just let that focus again. Come on, there we go. And he'll have eyebrows too, but I'll add those at the end because it's just in black, it's just in pen. So I'm gonna add those at the when I do my outline. So the first ear, I'm going to put it over here off to the side of his head, and I'm just going to do kind of a curved line that comes in and then back out a little bit, and then curve it around and then have it come back down into the head. So it's like a triangle that's leaning slightly. And then inside of the ear, you'll do a little line for like the edge of the ear, and then this is the pink part of the ear. And this ear is going to be in front, so I'm actually going to erase this line right here where this part's going to be brown, and it's just going to blend in with the face. So that's ear number 1. Ear number 2 is really just kind of the same shape. It's just a little bit further over. I had it flop over a little bit more. And then round it out and come back into the head. And then on this one, instead of doing a line inside, I actually drew an extra little line here for where the pink of the ear is. And I can also erase this little line where the ear is going to come right from the head. Scooby has a spot on his back, so I'll just kind of do a wavy little line blob right here on his back. Of course, if you're changing yours into just a different kind of Great Dane, someone posted a really pretty picture of a black and white one. You could do it according to your dog's coloring. And then we're going to tackle his collar. So his collar, we are doing a line that slopes down towards the front of his neck. It's going to come out of his neck a little bit and curve back in. Do you see that? Because I want it to look like the collar is hanging off of his neck and going around the other side. So from this point, I'll bring a line down and bring it back around for the rest of his collar. And then you can erase the little line that's inside of the collar. And there's a little tag that hangs from Scooby's neck. So I'm just going to do 2 little angled lines in the front, little curved lines right there for like the loop that goes around the collar. And then I'm drawing like a square, but it's curved edges, I guess more like a diamond. You could also do a circle for the tag. And then inside of this shape, it has one more, a border. So you just go right along the inside and create the shape again. And then this is where you would put the S and the D for Scooby Doo. But of course, if you're doing a different style, you could put something else. I'm saving his legs for last. So we'll do the tail next, and the tail is just going to come off this back end. You'll just do a wavy line and then curve it back around and follow it back in. So it's like you're making a big snake. And then you'll erase the line where the tail meets the body. So there's his tail. I make it a little bit wider. I know, it has no legs. The legs are like the harder part, so I'm saving those for last. So right now he's just flying. But hey, you know what? Like, let's say that you really struggle with the legs. Well, you know what you could do is you could put him in water. So you could draw like an inner tube around him and then color it like water. So he's like floating inside of an inner tube. You could put start drawing the mystery machine and have him coming out of a top window. You could change it up. So if the legs scare you too much, you can adjust your drawing to make it where you don't have to draw legs. But I'm going to try to teach you these legs. So the first leg is coming off of this chest, and you're bringing a line in a little bit and then straight down, and he has long legs. So see how I just curved in slightly and then I went straight. The other side of that leg, you'll come a little bit over from the leg. His legs are actually pretty skinny. And you'll bring a line down, and it's going to go past the first line you made. Because you're going to put his first toe in. So you're just going to do a hump and come back in. To build 3 more toes off of that, you're just starting another little hump and back in, and another little hump and back in. And there's his big front paw. And you can erase the line for his body. His other leg will start just a smidge over from the first one. So it's pretty narrow, the gap between them. And you'll just bring a line straight down, same length as this. And then same thing over here, a little bit over, a line that comes a little bit shorter. And then it humps around and comes back in. And then we do our toes. And there's his other leg, and we just erase the body line right here. He has spots on his legs, so I'm going to put those in, a couple little spots. And then we're just left with those back legs, which look a little bit funny when you draw them, but they will come together once you have them on the page. So this line right here, you're going to bring it longer and bring it in slightly and then loop it up. I want that loop a little bit longer than I made it. So I'm going to keep coming down a little and then loop up. So like you drew a little hook. Now this curves back around and then comes down to the same length of these legs. I moved it over just a smidge. Now from here, it's going to curve in. Oh, I need to make that wider. That was too skinny. Let's try that one more time. Curve in. And it's going to curve up into where you curved here. It's coming up just slightly, and then it comes back down shorter. Here's the first one. See, this is what we're doing right here. So we did this back part right here, and now we're doing the front part of the leg. So now with this, you hump, make your bump, curve back, and then you do your other toes. Three legs down, one to go. The next one's easier. You can also erase this line that you have inside this leg. Now the next one, you can just take a line starting right around here and have it come straight down. It's going to run into this other paw. So that's the start of his back leg. And then from under here, you're going to curve in. Curve that just a little bit shorter. See, even I'm making slight adjustments today because I want these kind of lined up. And then come down. And create that toe. And then two off of it. And there's his back leg. And now this leg, you want this line. So you don't want to erase this because this one, both of these, the way he's standing, you would see both of them. They're kind of both towards the front. But this leg is partially hidden by this leg. So you actually will keep this body line that you have right here. And that is our Scooby Doo. Colors are really simple on Scooby. He's going to have a brown, and he's kind of a reddish brown. I'm using a color called terracotta, I think that's the one I want to use. And then his spots are black, And then his collar is a light blue and a yellow in the tag. So I just have black, brown, blue, yellow, and I will do a tiny little bit of pink in his ears. So for my lines, again, I want the ears not to have that extra line in them. Come down to the collar. Now I'll do this little inside part of his ear here. And then a little inside part of his ear there. I'll go ahead and put my eyes in so that way I don't put the line through my eyes. I'm doing that curved line. And then I'm coloring these black and leaving that little circle of light for his eyeballs. Just like that. A little bit down for his nose, and then that big nose, which is also black. I'll color that in with my pencil though. And then loop around for his little jowls. They're actually quite big jowls. And his chin. And now I'm going to put some spots in his cheeks. Little freckle marks. And I'm going to put two little hairs on his chin. And I'm going to give him little eyebrows. So I'm just going to do a curved line above his eye. And then I'm just going to make it a little bit thicker. So I'm going to put one there. And then I'm going to put one that's actually going to come out of the face. And I know that seems silly because the eyebrows typically would be attached to the face. But you see that a lot in cartoons where something that should be attached actually is just kind of floating. And that's very common in Scooby Doo, where an eyebrow is just kind of floating on the page versus being attached to him. I want this dog tag on the outside, so I'm putting that first. And then I'll draw the little tag. And again, you could do any kind of tags. There's tags that have paw prints on them, tags that look like hearts. The colors are blue, yellow, and kind of a reddish brown. Do you guys watch Scooby Doo? I always loved Scooby Doo. They just made a new Scooby Doo movie that released, I think, a week or two ago. My son was asking to watch it, but we haven't watched it yet. It's kind of like how Trolls went straight to being able to download it and watch it. The Scooby Doo movie did the same thing since they couldn't release it into theaters. But I'm old school, so I like the old school Scooby-Doos, the originals. They do a lot of different, the cartoon, the animation is quite different on the new Scooby-Doos. I like the old school animation myself, which is what this drawing is based off of. It's more of a original Scooby-Doo. All those paws in, his little spots. Tomorrow we're going to do a space dog. I don't know exactly what that dog's going to look like yet. And then I am going to put a ground line. So I'm just going to kind of put a little line under his feet just to give him something so he's not floating. The colors, Scooby's spots and his nose are black. So the nose and the spots on his body are black, and then the rest of him is brown. So he's mostly brown. And then with the collar is blue, and the inside of the dog tag is blue, which you'll see in just a second because I'm going to color that first after I stop vibrating the camera. I do have a black lab on my list. Our space dog might be a lab. It might be a space lab. I haven't fully committed yet though. So, okay, so the yellow is going to be this little portion that's hanging the tag, and then the outer edge of the tag. So that right there is the only spot for the yellow. Very small. And then the blue is inside the tag and the collar. And I'm using azure blue, and my yellow was light yellow. And then I will put a letter S and a letter D on my tag for Scooby Doo. And I'm going to do a very pale pink. Also trying to find my black. There's the pink. Oh, no, that's not the pink. There's the pink. I'm going to do this very light pink on the inside of the ears. And that's called Crimson Lake, which I think is a funny name for that color. And where's my black? Oh, there it is. It's tiny. It hides inside here. It's just getting smaller and smaller. Hi, MJ. See, look at my little dinky black. And I'm going to come in here on the nose. Color the nose in black. Color the little spots in black. And then the big spot on his back. So this one back here. Now, some Great Danes, if you're not doing him as Scooby, you know, some Great Danes they almost look like cows, like the black and white spotted cows, and they have black spots all over their body. I think someone posted a picture of one last night in the group on the Scooby Doo announcement. I think it starts like a watch party. Yeah, so you and your friends can chat and watch outside of this group. Like, I don't see the comments in a watch party. but you guys see each other's comments. So it's a way to draw like privately in a sense with your friends. And then I'm coloring Scooby in. I am going to stick with this, what was it called? Terracotta color. He's kind of a reddish brown. Oh, did they scare you? Was it the ghosts in them? Because there were, you know, Scooby was always, well, he was always fighting ghosts, but it was never a ghost, right? It was always like, it was you, the gardener, Mr. Smith. But they did always have the ghosts in them. I've always been a kind of a fan of scary, so I've never been super scared by stuff. I even still love to watch scary movies. But that was kind of the funny thing with Scooby Doo is like, you know, I would watch it week after week after week, and really, if you look back on it now, it was always the same story. It was never a ghost. It was always some unsuspecting person dressed up like a ghost, playing tricks. Oh, Tales from the Crypt. So they just re-released that. Have you seen that? We tried to watch it. I can't remember what channel's doing it, but because I was such a fan of that show. And so they're doing, you know, they're doing it again currently, but they literally made it exactly the same as far as the cheesiness of the original. So I don't get it. Like, I would rather just go watch the original. If you're going to just recreate it exactly the same, you know, they're not making it any more believable or any more, it just has that real cheesy factor to it. I'd rather watch the original one and kind of laugh at the cheesiness of it. But it just came out just a couple weeks ago. And this is also a drawing where the blender pencil would really come in handy and would really smooth out the look of Scooby. Sorry, my computer was doing something weird and I had to turn it off. It was distracting. This is the portion that's going to take a little more time. I'm coloring him pretty dark, and there's lots of edges that I need to stay in, so is everyone done with theirs already? You guys always blow past me. My super fast drawing. Yeah, they just did a remake. I want to say it's on like A&E or something like that. The Arts and Entertainment. It's also on there's an app called Shudder, which is a subscription-based thing, and it's all kind of scary stuff. And they put the new Tales from the Crypt on that. But I don't know. I don't recommend it. I mean, just go watch the originals. They didn't recreate it, or they didn't reinvent it, reimagine it. They just recreated it. I just think that's kind of boring. Sure, it's new stories, but I'd rather watch the original and find it cheesy than watch a remake version and find it cheesy. If that makes any sense. These skinny legs. Both of my boys need haircuts again. It's crazy, you really see how fast hair grows. I think I've trimmed my bangs at least 10 times. I haven't watched, there's a new Magic School Bus. See, I didn't know there was a new Magic School Bus. I haven't watched that. I haven't seen the newest version. I don't know. A lot of times I don't like the redos. I'm very picky when they're remaking. You really have to impress me. Because I want originality, you know? I just want something new. And I get it for some things, you know, there's better technology now in movies. They can make things look more realistic, but if you're not doing that when you do the remake, then like what's the point of the remake? Now is when we need a coloring song, man. So I'll show you real quick, if I can find it real quick, that like blending. So watch how it's going to change this. Look at how much brighter it's going to make that brown with a blender pencil. See that? Kind of fills the holes, brightens it up. I'm not going to go through and do the whole thing, but I just kind of thought I'd show you a quick example of what the blender pencil can do. This is the kind of drawing I would do it in to blend out that brown. So when you're done with Scooby today, make sure you share them. Again, this week, we didn't do separate folders, so you're not going to find a Scooby Doo folder. You're going to find a Dog Week folder. So just look for the Dog Week folder and put it in there. We might do more theme weeks. I kind of like this. It gives me, I don't know, it helps me out too in picking out what we're drawing each day. So I think next week I'm going to do food. We had requests for food. So I think next week is going to be a food themed week. And I know that doesn't totally work with Mascot Monday. But I think what we'll do, I don't know. I'm either going to have a mascot eating something. I'm going to find a way to make it work. Or I thought about doing like a cafeteria, like a cafeteria themed drawing. Cause I do like still doing the Mascot Mondays. So I'll figure it out, you know, like tomorrow we're doing a space dog. So I'm incorporating space and dogs. So I can cross some borders. But yeah, when you're loading your picture today, you can look for that Dog Week album and load your picture in there. I'm going to turn my Scooby Doo completely upside down here to get this backside. Or if you have trouble finding the albums, you can just load it directly onto the page too. Whatever works for you. And then if you follow me on Instagram, you can also tag me in your pictures there. That's another way to share them with me and with others. I usually try to reshare when I can. And the Instagram account, if you have one, I don't always share the same things on there. So you do get little sneak previews a lot of drawings on Instagram. So it's not all the same exact content. And just search Draw with Stacy with an E. You need to make sure you have an E. You'll end up at one, but that one's, if you forget the E, it's going to tell you, hey, you're on the wrong one. Put an E in. Because one time the news posted and they put it without an E. So I had to quickly make an account without an E to tell people, go to the other one. I've spent my whole life telling people there's an E in my name. All right, there's my Scooby. I'll go through and do more of that blending in there. And you could also do, you could add a little green down here by his feet, since he's just kind of standing on, give him something to stand on, a little grass. But then some of you will go crazy and you'll do all kinds of fun backgrounds. I bet we get other Scooby-Doo characters. It's really fun to see what you guys come up with. I like your creativity. And I'm going to put my name and my age and where I am from. And we're done. Scooby-Dooby-Doo. We did it. So awesome job. I can't wait to see yours. I know it was a little bit trickier back here in the back legs, so I'm curious to see how you guys all did. I'm sure you did excellent. And we will be back tomorrow at 11 a.m., right? Is our drawing time? Yeah, 11 a.m. And we will be doing a space dog to celebrate NASA. So I will see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Have a great rest of your evening. Stay cool out there if you're here where it's hot. Drink lots of water. Thank you so much for drawing with me, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.